Hey everybody, it's Albertine again, and I'm doing this video today just to give you guys some pointers on when you purchase a book, ebook, paperback book from an independent author, self-published author, ways that you can help them out even beyond the purchase of the book. And what you can do beyond the purchase of the book is to come back and give them some feedback on the book, trying to get rid of that shadow there. It's getting a little late here in the evening. And so one of the things, and one of the best things, even beyond the purchase, is to give some feedback or a review of the book, a short review. Advertisement, the best form of advertisement is word of mouth. If I got on television and paid money to have commercials on television about my book, it would reach a lot of people. But what would push the reach even further would be for the people who purchase the book and read it to say something about it. Now, all that simply means is say something. You can say 2 words, great book. That goes a long way. That in itself goes a long way. It tells people one thing, first, that you purchased the book, and it tells them that you read it, and it tells them that you enjoyed it. Now, about enjoying it, you don't have to necessarily enjoy every word, every page. You don't even necessarily have to agree on everything or agree with everything. You don't have to. It's not about doing something for the sake of argument or feeling like, well, you know, they said one thing in the book and I didn't like that, or I didn't really agree with that, but the rest of the book was great. Concentrate on the great part, okay? Because just as sure as there's something you didn't agree with, somebody else may agree with everything. So that's really not the point. The point is we need your support, we need your voice, and we need your feedback. As indie authors, we are trying to get our words that we were inspired to write to as many people as possible. You know, we know to go to our immediate family, our church family, our co-workers, you know, people that we associate with on a regular basis. We know to build get our momentum and sometimes our confidence built by those initial sales from the people who know us, you know. So we are talking about our books. I know that even on my job, my coworkers shared in my excitement as I was writing Empty Womb, and as I accomplished certain things. I even allowed them to read some pages and some paragraphs to get some feedback. How does it sound? Does it flow? Does it feel like something's missing? I got good feedback from both, you know, a younger lady and then somebody else who's a little older, still a little younger than me. Got some good feedback from them, able to switch some things up, add a little bit more, give her a little bit more. She felt like I had left some things out, so I went back and elaborated some more. Got some feedback from another young woman at my church who said, I'm not sure if you want to say it like that because you don't want to give people the impression that, and I said, you know what, I get that. I get that. So I'm going to go back through and make sure that I change that, and I want to make sure that I don't have that sitting in anywhere else in my book because I don't want it to become about that. So feedback is very important. Honest feedback is very important. So if you know someone who's a writer, and if you don't mind doing a little bit of reading, you don't have to read their whole book. You can, you know, sometimes writers will say, I really need somebody to get to read my book and give me a review. They may not get one person to read the whole book, but if you could be one of the people who say, I can read a chapter, I can read so many pages and give you some feedback on that. That will help them a lot. It'll help them in the process of writing to write a better book, to get some live feedback, okay? So that's needed. But once the book is finished, we are ready to start making sales. And we love the people who wait for the book to come out immediately. I appreciate every one of you who, within the first day that Empty Womb was ready for download, you purchased it within 24 hours. Thank you. And what we need after you purchase, after that initial purchase, what really pushes us over the edge, out of our normal people is when you take your spot where you know people that we don't know and you say a couple of words about our book. It doesn't have to be a Siskel and Ebert type of a review, but if you liked it, say that was a good book. This lady I know, she wrote a book about such and such, and it was pretty good. It was good. You just gave us probably another sale. You just gave words to a yet another person who could go and spend that same $3 you spent and get something out of the book because you told them it was worth the $3. That's basically what you're saying. That the book was $3. I read it and it was worth every penny. So I just want to encourage those of us who read, and those of us who know people who write, those of you who know me and other people like me. I'm not the only writer in our environment, in our immediate, surroundings here in this area. You know, those of us who you support because you love us. You bought the book because you love me. You bought the book because you respect me. You bought the book because I was posting excerpts and you said, that's going to be good. I'm going to get that. What we need to do at that point is come back after we read and give feedback. So I just want to give you a couple of little pointers, how easy it is to give feedback. It's not something you have to be stressed out about. You don't have to write a review fit for the newspaper or anything like that. But I think sometimes people would say, how do you do that? What do I say? I don't want to sound like this or that, so what can I do? So I just want to give you a couple of little ideas of how you can help indie authors like me, self-published authors like myself, who are trying to push beyond our immediate borders. I wrote a book that I believe was inspired by God, along with my personal experience. I learned amazing things about myself, about life, about people, and about God, about the Bible, about things that I hadn't really thought about as far as fertility, even about my own body. As I wrote this book, and I included those things in the book. And as I'm writing those things, I know that I'm not the only one who will be impacted by that information. But I can only do so much as one person, okay? So I reached you. And then all I ask is that you take a few words and reach anybody that you can reach. People who have written books that ended up being movies like the 50 Shades and like the Harry Potter, things like that. Like one of our favorite shows on television now, Queen Sugar, started out as a book. Gone Girl was a book. Somebody said something to somebody until that book became a big deal, and then a movie. But it started with a book. And some of the movies that we watch now, some of the books that became so well known, started out, nobody knew who those authors were. They were writing just for the love of writing. But somebody said something to somebody, and eventually they said something to somebody that could get it to, it just spread. That's basically all I'm saying. It just becomes a domino effect. So if you have purchased a book, one of mine, if you purchase one of anyone else's, and this applies to restaurant, anything, but since I'm a writer, I didn't open a restaurant, I wrote a book. I just want to give you some ways to give a book review. And like I said again, you don't have to be the person who says, oh, I love that page from cover to cover. Some people will read a book and they will feel that way. I just was engrossed from cover to cover. You may be somebody who read it and said, I don't know about that. That's fine. Skip that part. Review the part that you liked, okay? This isn't about trying to get people to everybody pretend like they loved everything on every page. We want the honest part. So even if you can give a good book review, even if there was only one chapter that you really, really liked. The other ones, maybe you're not that interested or whatever, but that one chapter, that was pretty good. I hadn't thought about that, okay? So take that piece that you liked, because there are potentially thousands of other readers. You're just one person. So there's potentially thousands of other readers who from that one comment could say, oh, okay, I think I'll get that. Okay. So 2 words you can say. Now, as an indie author, I'm using social media to my best ability to let people know about my book. I use Twitter. I had to start using Instagram, which I had never used. And I had Twitter, hadn't used it in over a year, but I had to start using everything available to me without overwhelming myself completely, to let people know about my book. But I'm only connected with so many people. But everybody that I'm connected with, they're connected with some of the same people that I'm connected with, but then they're also connected with a whole other group of people that I don't know. And this is where your feedback becomes very important. So if you have in your heart, and most of us do, have in our heart that we really would like to do something to help somebody. I want to do something that means something to somebody, or I want to be a blessing to somebody. 2 words will bless my life. That if you read my book, and if there was anything in that book that you think is great, that you think is informative, that you think was helpful, you can go on your own status, tag me, I just purchased Empty Womb by Albertine Williams, or I'm reading Empty Womb by Albertine Williams. This is a good book. That in itself is enough to make somebody come right behind you on that status and say, where can I get it? Is it on Amazon? Is it in ebook? Is it in paperback? When will it be in paperback? How much was it? You just created for me a blessing. You connected me with somebody that I may not have been able to connect with on my own. Okay, so this is what we need from you as indie authors. This is what every local restaurant owner needs. If you go there and you love that food and they're trying to get the word out, word of mouth is the best form of advertisement, good or bad. You want to tear somebody down, start talking bad about them. You want to build somebody up, say something good about them. It's so powerful that if 2 or 3 people say something good and one troll comes along and says something bad and give a little bit more bad information, it can almost, for a lot of people, it can nullify all the good for some people that they've already heard. Well, that one, somebody said they seen a roach or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So your words have power. And so we put our words in writing, and we put our words in ebooks and in paperback form. We use our words on these videos to encourage you, to motivate you. And so you can do something as simple as saying something like, I just bought this book by this person. Just mentioning their name, it tags them so that when you put it on your Facebook page, it shows up on theirs. So you are complimenting them on a job well done. And that puts it out to even more people. So if you got 3 or 4 and more hundred people connected to you on Facebook than they have, or that they don't know, you just made known to them that there's something that somebody else that you're connected with has created, and you think they did a good job. You can say something like, in the case of the book Empty Womb, it's about my infertility for 14 years. You could say something like, I'm reading Empty Womb by Albertine Williams. This is a good book for anybody who's dealing with infertility. Boom. You may not know who all you are connected with on social media who's dealing with infertility, or who knows someone else who's dealing with infertility that could draw them in. That's why I wrote the book. I wrote it. I got satisfaction from it. I received joy and fulfillment from writing that book like I have never experienced in my life. I have tapped into my purpose. Nobody can take away from me the joy that I gained from writing that book. But when you put that word out there to someone else, you are fulfilling the true purpose of writing the book. I wrote the book in purpose, on purpose, for a purpose. And then when you share it and get it, help get it in front of somebody who needs it, that I wouldn't have been able to reach it, you help the book fulfill its purpose. Okay. So a simple recommendation. You don't have to go on and on and on. If you want to be a blessing to me, you want to help me, you feel like this book is good for somebody who is dealing with infertility, married to somebody, works with somebody, a simple recommendation. You can say what I liked about the book. It could be that there's some things you didn't like about the book. Take one line. I'm reading this book, and this is what I liked about it. You just endorsed it. Did you learn something? I learned something by writing the book, And so if you read the book and you learn something, it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's a good review. That tells people that you read a book by an author who informed you of something, who taught you something, okay? Who increased your knowledge. Okay, that validates that person as an author. You can say how the book did it put something on your mind? Did it challenge the way you thought? Did it change your perception about something? I was reading this book and I had never thought about it this way, but she said such and such and such in her book. And I was like, oh, wow. Use your own language. You don't have to be acting like you're sitting on somebody's TV, in front of the camera, channel 9 or whatever. Just use your language. I had never thought about that before. I allowed somebody to read the portion of my book to give me feedback before it was ready for publish, and I let her read the part about the infertility in the U.S. and particularly in men. And she had never thought about the fact that sometimes when couples can't get pregnant, it's because of the man. She just hadn't thought about it. But see, that speaks to a whole nother issue that I also talk about toward the end of the book, how women tend to take ownership of just whatever's wrong in the relationship. And we've trained ourselves, we train each other to do it, we allow each other to do it. It just seems to be something that's just accepted, but it's something that we really need to work on because it causes us a lot of pain. But she's let me know. She said, I had never thought about it before, and it really kind of made me feel bad that I hadn't thought about it. So the point wasn't to make anybody feel bad, of course, but the fact that it changed her perception, it opened her mind up to, yes, this is real and this happens over here too. It's not just here. So if you read a book, if you read my book and that happens to you, I need to know that as a writer that's encouraging to me to let me know that I did something. My book has more substance to it, that it really is teaching, it's opening up people's minds. And then you're letting other people know this book delivers something. Let's see here. How, if your perception about something was changed, then that means it could have broadened you a little bit. So that's great for an author to hear from a reader, that they challenged your thinking, that they changed your perception, that they opened your eyes about something, they educated you about something, that they helped you to be a little bit more sensitive in an area, because now you understand a little bit better. And that was my point. A lot of what I wrote in Empty Womb was to add some of the medical and the medical background, the infertility testing, to inform people, to give them a little bit deeper look into what people are dealing with so that they won't be insensitive in things that they say. Even beyond the infertility testing, I share how I came to get custody and adopt my oldest daughter, and how I had to deal with people doing and saying things. It informs people, it educates people, and it's intended to increase people's sensitivity to other people, and to watch your mouth, and to don't just be so flippant and so loosey-goosey, with things that you do and say. So that's the point. And so if you read the book and you get that from the book, take to your Facebook post and post one line, and that's enough. That's enough. And then lastly, how did it make you feel? Some people have read my poetry, and there was another portion of my book that I let somebody else read for feedback. And she wrote me back and talking about so much loss that she had endured, and the pain that she still deals with, that she still has problems sometimes, handling. I had no idea that reading about what I was going through would kind of remind her and have her rehearse back and open up to me about things that she has lost. Lost as far as people who've gone on, who have passed on. Okay, and it touched that part of her. So you can give a review about if you read my book and it makes you feel a certain way. Oh man, that made me mad reading about how they did that to you. That was wrong. You can share that that part of the book made you think about how we treat each other. You know what I'm saying? So that means that as an author, I made you think. I made you consider something, even maybe how you may be handling people, or how you may be saying things or doing things without thinking about it. So we need that. So that's really basically all I wanted to do, was give you some ideas. We all need, if any entrepreneur, any business owner, any speaker, any writer, we need the feedback. for several reasons. But I just wanted to give you some pointers on if there's any question in your mind about, well, I don't know how I would do that. These are some pointers, just a couple of words. That was a good book. That was really good. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Oh, I learned something. Simple as that. Then that's enough to make another person say, what was the name of the book? Where can I get it? How much was it? And then you, by doing that, bless that reader. You bless that author. You bless me. Okay. So I do want to encourage you. And thank you again to everyone who has already purchased Empty Womb. Thank you for those of you who have liked my page, Books by Albertine on Facebook. Thank you for those who've already given me some feedback. And for those of you who have purchased the book and have not given me feedback, hop to it. I want to hear from you. Okay. I really want to know. It lets me know also, I know what my intention was in writing the book. And when you give me feedback, it gives me proof that I fulfilled that intention. And if I didn't, if I get everything back except that, then it lets me know I probably need to tweak and to fine tune and zero in more on what my intention is and what I want people to get from the book. Okay. I really thank you guys for watching this video. It didn't quite mean for it to be 20 minutes, but y'all have seen some of my videos. You know, I can go 30 to 40 and I didn't want to do that. Okay. So I just want to, let you know that you can buy Empty Womb on Smashwords.com. It's not in paperback just yet, but you can go to Smashwords.com. If you go to my Books by Albertine page on Facebook, you can like my page, and there are links. As a matter of fact, the Shop Now button on the right side, if you click that Shop Now, it'll take you straight to Smashwords. You can click whether you want it in whichever format you want it in. If you click on Mobi, that's for Kindle readers. And if you click on EPUB, that's pretty much any other reader. You can also click on PDF. To get it in that format from the same spot. So those buttons are yellow, so you'll need to see which one you're clicking on, especially if you have Kindle, because that's the Mobi one. Okay, and it's $2.99 in ebook, and I will be coming back to let you guys know when it is ready in paperback. And I'm super proud of it. It's the most beautiful cover. I'm so happy about that. Probably will come back and do another video about how I got that cover done and how much it did not cost me. Okay. Let's see, like my page on Facebook, and you can order the books from there. That's pretty much it. If you purchased the book, thank you so much. And now let's take it to the next level and let's leave some reviews, tell someone else about it, just recommend it in 1 or 2 words. And I am looking forward to finishing up the next book and letting you guys know when you can get that download and when you can get that in paperback. Okay. God bless everybody. I thank you so much for your support. Without support, we're just doing stuff. You know what I mean? Not doing anything just so I can say I did it. You know, I'm doing it to fulfill the purpose of God on my life. But if nobody comes along and supports by purchasing or even encouraging, well, that turns out to be a little bit different. So just wanted to give you guys some pointers on how you can do that. Very simple, very quick, very fast, but it means the world to us as entrepreneurs, as indie authors, self-published authors, doing it out here, doing the footwork, hustling, exhausted at the end of the day, but full of joy. It gives you just something very small that you can do to help get the word out about something that, if you really believe somebody else needs it, let them know. Okay. I will see you guys in the next video. I don't know why I feel like I'm forgetting something, but this is too long. So we're going to cut it on off. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.